Hello, how's it going? Today we got a long one. It's more of a reaction video today. I don't have any notes for Inglorious Basterds, but I want to watch it today in this podcast. So let's go for it and start the show with some tradition here. Antisocial Commentary, episode number 19. What's it called? Inglorious Basterds. Action. There we go. A little bit of tradition as usual. Let's see. Let's get ready to start this film. Like I said, we're going to watch this Blu-ray, and today is going to be more of a reaction. But I did take some notes, so let's dive into the movie. In 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, here we go. Now this is one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. And Tarantino is one of those directors where it's like all of his movies are my favorite movies. If I had to choose, I guess it would be Pulp Fiction, but still all of them are really good. Inglorious Basterds, 2009. Release date, August 21st, 2009. Competed in theaters with movies like District 9, Halloween 2, The Final Destination. Loosely titled from the 1978 film Inglorious Basterds, starring Fred Williamson and Bo Svenson. I like Fred Williamson in From Dusk Till Dawn. That was a good one. The budget for this film was $70 million, and it has earned so far worldwide $321 million. Let's see, companies, yada yada yada. Filming locations: Paris, France, and Germany. But yeah, a lot of people would call this a spaghetti western with the style of being set in the time of World War II. There's like an interview or something where Quentin Tarantino said where it's like, this isn't really about World War II, but the story is happening during World War II. And he loves that once upon a time thing, right? Once upon a time in Nazi occupied France. Yeah, you get it. So yeah, there we go. Look at that house. I want that house. That's a nice little brick house. Let's see, that axe. Axes were invented like 40,000 years ago in the old school Stone Age. Pretty badass. Laundry. Help out with the laundry, fellas. He's chopping wood. He's fine, but you know what I mean. Now that score, that's Ennio Morricone. Yeah. Let's see. France was occupied by June 25th, 1940. Let's see. I like Beethoven's number 5 and number 9 because it's in A Clockwork Orange. Moonlight Sonata sounds pretty awesome. So the main theme of this movie is called Rabbia Tarantella. Cool, and that means to be angry, which is a pretty common theme in any Quentin Tarantino movie. The thing that I love the most about Quentin Tarantino movies are the anti-hero thing. Like, I wouldn't really call Christoph Waltz's character an anti-hero, but the way he plays his role with charm and class. Christoph Waltz is a total genius. See, the dude with the beard, all I have written down on this page is that. The dude with the beard is Denis Menochet. Is that how you say that? Denis Menochet? Yeah. He was in Assassin's Creed with Michael Fassbender. I liked Assassin's Creed because of the video games were pretty fun. Yeah, that's about it. The movie didn't really do the video game justice, but what are you going to do? Now, when I was a kid, this movie was, about to be released or whatever. And, well, I guess I felt like a kid, whatever. I was young. Sorry, Christoph Waltz is captivating there when he just asked for some milk. When I was a kid, though, like, I saw this and part of me wished that it was like dubbed in English, and then when I grew up out of that kind of stuff, I was like, man, the fact that Quentin Tarantino elected to have just a complete genius who knows, like, French, German, Italian, like all that, just like Christoph Waltz is just such a genius. All right, this is all I have written on that page. Denis Menochet, Assassin's Creed, Michael Fassbender, and Milk 8 to 10,000 years ago. That means that's like when we were like, cows make milk, get them. And then yeah. See, there's like so much charm and class in Christoph Waltz's delivery. I got Christoph Waltz, genius is what I wrote next to his name. October 4th, 1956. So he's still just a baby at 69 years old. I screwed that up. Frankenstein, check it out. That's a really good movie. I really liked his character in Frankenstein. I won't say any more, just in case you didn't see it yet. Go check out Frankenstein. Christoph Waltz plays a good supporting character. You are the actor in Big Eyes. I liked Big Eyes, and Horrible Bosses too. He was really good in that one. He was so good in Django. The yin and yang of the Quentin Tarantino universe never ceases to amaze me. Just because, like, that same charm presented on the different side of good and evil, so to speak, like Hans Landa being representing evil in the mask, like in the mask of charm. And then, in Django Unchained when he's like the bounty hunter there. Like there's a certain liberating quality that Christoph Waltz plays by helping Django and his old lady there, Django Unchained. There, like that was a good one though, for real. Like it's unbelievable that Christoph Waltz won an award for both Quentin Tarantino roles, and it's just that thing where he's almost like the same character but not. Like, like just his delivery is so. That's Christoph Waltz. That's his delivery. It's genuine. Very good costume design. Like very well done. Love that corn cob pipe or whatever there. Got an uncle who does that, and it always looks really classy. And in case my kids are watching this again, I would just like to say, don't smoke. But if you're going to, like a corn cob pipe with an old school lit match does look pretty classy. And Quentin Tarantino always, like, he doesn't like product placement and stuff like that. So I mean, like, not like there would be a tobacco brand to really back then. Maybe there was, but like, yeah, I read something about him inventing his own like tobacco company in the movies, like Red Apple cigarettes or something like that, and hope I got that right. And if it is Apple, there's something magical about using the word Apple as the title or something, I guess. It's a moneymaker. I like the panning of the camera there. How it gives an extra dimension to the room. Like we're in it. Now even more terrifying what is outside of the room. Right underneath the floorboards. Like just based on the reality of the invasion of Poland. Well, I mean, this is Nazi occupied France, but just based on that reality of hiding underneath the floorboards and stuff like that. It's so spooky. You mix that with the niceness and charm of Waltz. It's pretty terrifying. And Christoph is like a genius at playing his role, like the way he keeps reading his body language, looking him up and down. So for Shoshana, laying underneath the floorboards, I discovered that she's also a very good writer and good director. I've only seen her in this and Now You See Me. She was born in February 21st, 1983. Another thing that kind of enters my perception as terrifying is the way Hans Lanza, like the way he takes away their humanity and starts calling them, just creatures that he hunts and stuff, like, while using that charm towards Denis there. Because evil is like that salt and sugar thing, right? They look like the same and you don't find out until later. Now the uniform can immediately remove all sympathy for Christoph Waltz's character. With the contradiction of how nice he is towards, Mr. Minochet over there. While his motive is very sinister and about murder. Now you can hear the cows mooing. Love that. The whole time was him being red. Yeah, that guy's a good actor. Those real tears, man. Because he knows that he can't protect them from death. Like every other Quentin Tarantino movie, you learn everything you need to learn about Hans Lanza. The way you learn about everybody in Reservoir Dogs at the diner sequence, right? Now, Quentin Tarantino has said that this scene is like the best work he has ever done. And I see why. Cinematically, it is a breathtaking scene. Because everything like her running and not looking back, his ego saying that she's, like thinking that she has nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, she's gonna die. Her, like him being careless like that, and that cause and effect of later on that comes back to haunt Hans Lanza. Yeah, man. Yeah. Now we have what you call there, Brad Pitt. Now, I'm pretty sure that fun monologue. Just giving Brad his respect there. That was a solid monologue. And I think that the fact that Aldo Rain appears uneducated in the way where he calls like debit. I think sorry, there's Hitler there, but I think that it's misspelled like with the E, not because of just Tarantino, but because of Aldo Rain, kind of, in the universe of the movie, nerd shit. that he coined the term Inglorious Basterds but misspelled it. Something like that. What's this one? Trying to figure out who Hitler is in this movie. The Lur is played by Martin Wuttke. I guess it was the role he was born to play. Today is April 20th, as you can see, April 20th, 2026. And I thought, why not throw this movie on? And we'll, enjoy the fantasy of what happens later together. It really is too bad that they destroyed like that symbol. That symbol does kind of look like if it didn't stand for that, and like, I mean, like I'm not sympathizing or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you're making a band, right? Like you and your buddies are making a band together and you need a symbol. You know what I mean? Like if you were like, if that didn't mean that, I'm just saying, like, it's just such an easy symbol to draw. I've never drawn it, but and also just, I don't know, just the bright reds, the Hugo Boss uniforms, all that stuff. It's overwhelming. The real German language being spoken, all that. Quentin Tarantino really outdoes himself in this one. But he does that all the time. I think he's always trying to one-up himself, Man, I was watching a different not a movie with Nazis in it, right? With the wonderful actor there, Ed Harris, and Jude Law and Rachel Weisz in that movie, Enemy at the Gates. God, I love that movie. Great movie. Like, if you're gonna pick like the best Nazi movie of all time, I do love Inglourious Basterds, possibly for that. It really is a tie between that and then the more realistic, like Saving Private Ryan, right? But I mean, like they're like two different genres with the way Tarantino has this way of recreating the universe to his liking. Like everything in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there, that the way he recreated history in a lot of ways. He does that with this Inglorious Basterds and like Django. Speaking of Django, Samuel L. Jackson played one of the most evil people of all time, but at the same time was a product of his environment in the movie Django Unchained, and I can't wait to watch that one day. Do the podcast for that one. Want to learn more things about it, but see, did I write down who Stiglitz was? Probably not. Oh yeah, Till Schweiger is Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz. I wonder who drew the Jewish person on the newspaper. Looked like a very inappropriate one. I'm just picturing it now, like Yeah, Quentin Tarantino being like, no, I'll draw it myself. No, I'm just joking. I'm sorry. Man, Tarantino's so cool. I got actually a page of Tarantino stuff here. So you got Quentin Jerome Tarantino, born March 27th, 1963. And yeah, was like it's already here. I mean, you can read it all online there, but I was checking out some of his old films that he grew up watching, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That was so good. That was so good. Like Clint Eastwood, one of my heroes. So um, he was asked, like, "Hey Tarantino, what kind of what movie would you like to direct?" And he mentioned James Bond. Thought that was very cool. And Tarantino's very anti-animal abuse. There's no room for like real violence in film, is to paraphrase the legend. Hates naps, and they have a big purple dildo on stage, or they did for a couple of sets or whatever. If you fall asleep and have a nap on set, they'll pull out that dildo and try to take a picture of you, like like sleeping next to it or something. Yeah, I'll talk more about Tarantino later. He's really cool. My uncle's favorite director. May my uncle rest in peace. If I had to choose a favorite director, though, that is a really, really tough, tall order. Right now, because we're watching Inglorious Basterds, it's Quentin Tarantino. But like, if you were to choose a favorite director of all time, right now it's Quentin Tarantino. But if you're just like sitting there on a coffee break at work, and like no movies were in your head, who is the best movie director of all time? What jumps in your head? Love how there's Nazis dead and scalped in the background. That looks like a fun day of filming. The realistic shit that it's based on, that would suck to be like part of World War II. But holy shit, does filming World War II movies ever seem like fun? Like one of the movies that I was hoping to do this year was World War II, right? Saving Private Ryan or something. That'd be cool. And we have the introduction of the very cool Bear Jew, who was supposedly in mind for who was going to play the Bear Jew was like Adam Sandler, which would have been really, really fun, I think. But nobody can replace the very talented Mr. Eli Roth. Eli Roth. I've seen a lot of his movies, of course. I love how the dust from the bat kind of like, and the dust from the bat and maybe the German's hair, the way it like reacted to the bat hitting the head. That was really cool. The irony that I like about this movie is later on in the movie they have Nazi propaganda movies, and in one ironic way I always kind of thought of this like an American propaganda propaganda video, just a little bit, but like a cool one where Quentin Tarantino was like, I love America, and then he made like baseball, like America's number one pastime or whatever, the weapon that the bear Jew gets to smack the Nazi over the head with, which is pretty cool. Now, speaking of Eli Roth, got a movie on the list coming up this year that I need to watch called Ice Cream Man. I have to check that one out. Have to. There's the lure on his birthday. But Eli Roth, let's talk about some Eli Roth movies instead here. Ice Cream Man in 2026, and then you got Thanksgiving 2 is in pre-production right now, which means it could get scrapped at any moment, but I hope that they finish it. I hope they end up making it. Hostel, the TV series. That sounds so much fun, especially if they make it like gory and somebody dies once per episode. That'd be really cool. That's in pre-production right now. Eli Roth directed Borderlands. I'm not gonna lie, I had higher hopes for Borderlands, but I am a huge fan of like Bobby Lee and Jamie Lee Curtis, and any more Lees in that movie? Kevin Lee Hart. But yeah, no, it's a movie. Thanksgiving 2023 though, I loved Thanksgiving 2023 there with that Dempsey dude was really good in that movie. Being based on the Grindhouse feature between Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, obviously. Sorry, I haven't slept in a while. Quentin Tarantino, like that Grindhouse thing. Thanksgiving having a commercial come from that. Like just to see the movie be made, like Machete was made and stuff like that. That was really cool. And Death Wish. Knock Knock. Oh, Knock Knock was scary. So scary, man. Like, you're only human, like if it can happen to Keanu Reeves, it could happen to you. The Green Inferno was really good because the characters, they had really good intentions, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So that's what I liked about the Green Inferno. Check that one out by Eli Roth there. Let's see, Hostel 1, Hostel 2, obviously awesome. Cabin Fever. Now that was like one of my favorites when I was growing up there. Like, you know what I mean? Just hanging out with your buds at a cabin in the woods. Like, hell yeah. It starts off really awesome. And then, check out Cabin Fever. I won't say anything more about that. Good old Shoshana. Let's see, who do we have here? Oh yeah, there's that dude. I think I got his name here. Daniel Bruhl. And I've only seen him in Captain America Civil War as Zemo and Burnt with Bradley Cooper. Which, by the way, dude, if you ever get a chance to check out the Bradley Cooper directed movie, Is This Thing On? Like, give it a shot. Give it a shot. If you like stand-up comedians and stuff like that, like, it's such a good movie. And Will Arnett is starring in that movie, and like, Will Arnett is just phenomenal. As an actor. Speaking of phenomenal actors, back to Daniel Bruhl, who was really good in Rush. Like, this fellow here, Daniel Bruhl, like, his best role in my eyes is, obviously Inglorious Basterds. That's why we're watching it. But then after that, the movie Rush with Chris Hemsworth or whatever, like, that one's so freaking good, dude. The movie Intruders, that was scary, I thought. Like, just a spooky storyline. Any intrusion, right? Really. See, Daniel Bruhl was born June 16th, 1978 in Barcelona, Spain. And that Shoshana there, she looks so beautiful in any costume that she frickin' wears there. I think it combined, like, swearing and not swearing at the same time. Did I really not write her name down? Oh, I think I already said Melanie Laurent, and then I put it down over here. Let's give it another read. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Melanie Laurent. Yeah, born, like, she's a singer. She is a singer. And, oh yeah, she said about this movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but she said about this movie. Okay, I'm about to spoil it for everybody. If you haven't seen it, why would you watch it for the first time with me? But anyways, she said about this movie, a dream of hers was to kill Hitler ever since she was 4 years old. So, like, this beautiful woman here, like, she is both, like, an Ashkenazi Jew and, like, that's, like, the smartest one, and then can't remember the other one, but, like, yeah, she is, whoa. she's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous. Like, I think if I could hook up with any woman, it'd be like a really, really Jewy woman. I know that sounds politically incorrect to say like that, but Jewish women are my, foot in the door to Hollywood. no, but, like, no, Jewish women, like, they're gorgeous. They really are. Like, just look at her, Melanie Laurent. Say what you want about Hugo Boss, but they make a really solid uniform with a lot of really good pockets. No, okay. I like, like, her character's disdain for Nazis, because she's part Jewish and whatnot. But then, like, there's a certain look that she gives. What's his name there? Bruhl's character there. Like, there's a certain look that she gives to him that kind of looks like she's impressed by the, by the way, I don't know, this guy's, like, superiors or whatever are like, oh my God, it's you. Yeah, Tarantino knows that cause and effect very well. So, like, something like that woman saying that to Shoshana. It just adds more to that weird, twisted, dead inside spark that that Melanie Laurent brings to the character of Shoshana. Shoshana's like one and only goal being the revenge for the death of her family. In 2009, like she's looking very, very beautiful. Yeah, man, if you haven't seen Rush with that Burl fellow there, I gotta plug it again. That's how good it was. I loved in the Blu-ray features. In the Blu-ray features, they actually have what is it there? The making of Nation's Pride, and then they show the video Nation's Pride that's in the movie, right? So like, if you ever, I mean, if we're watching this together, you have this version, so that's cool. Give it a check after this, man. Which I'm sure you already seen it if you're watching this with me, and yeah. I'm picturing this in the like along in the future, like if it's like my son or daughter watching this now, right? Like if they're watching this with me and I'm like gone and I'm not around anymore. I always loved you and I always believed in you, and the purpose for your life from me is for you to take care of yourself and do what you love. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to have to follow your heart first and give yourself your own meaning of life, while my meaning of your life is secondary. My meaning for your life is that you take care of yourself and live your dream, right? And yeah, just in case you're watching this in the future and you're wondering, why you were born. But yeah, Inglorious Basterds, 2009, Shoshana. So cool. And there's that, what's his name there? General, Corporal. I don't know, Captain there. That dude comes into the story later on in like one of the biggest scenes in the movie. I'll mention it later. Hey, it's him from earlier. But yeah, this is a really good Blu-ray. Definitely. Like, any Quentin Tarantino nerd has to have stuff like that. I remember I once had this one Quentin Tarantino set. I lent it to my uncle. My uncle Steve's favorite director is Quentin Tarantino. My uncle Steve, rest in peace. And yeah, I lent him that Quentin Tarantino set. It had like 9 different movies or whatever it was, 7 or 9 discs or something. A lot of it's like special features. And just like inside the bookcase or whatever is a bunch of pictures of Quentin Tarantino. But because it was made out of that like paper sleeve kind of stuff, like if the weather got too warm, the paper stuff would melt onto the disc or whatever, so the disc got scratched really easily because my uncle left it all over the place. But Yeah, I remember like crushing that entire Quentin Tarantino set, like regularly. You know what I mean? Like all the time, I'd just rewatch Quentin Tarantino movies again and again. And yeah, like obviously my favorite would be Pulp Fiction, but man, the I don't know. Okay, maybe not. Man, Reservoir Dogs are Pulp Fiction. But then again, Jackie Brown is so fucking good too, dude. Like I got Quentin Tarantino stuff around here. Okay. So Tarantino's biggest influences, we got Martin Scorsese, obviously really good director, Brian De Palma, Sergio Leone, Jean-Luc Godard, Howard Hawks. But yeah, on to Quentin Tarantino movies here. Reservoir Dogs, 1992. Like Steve Buscemi and Tim Roth, dude. Let's talk about Steve Buscemi first. Like Steve Buscemi and like Con Air, or Steve Buscemi and like Armageddon. You know what I mean? Like top notch Steve Buscemi and Reservoir Dogs. Tim Roth, man, I bring up Tim Roth a lot. I'm gonna have to watch that Planet of the Apes movie that he was in just for Tim Roth, because Tim Roth's performance in Planet of the Apes is so phenomenal that you don't even recognize that's Tim Roth. But Tim Roth is a master of disguises there. So, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, so good. Jackie Brown with man, and De Niro is a badass in that one. And Bridget Fonda, like Bridget Fonda back in the day during was it like Red Dragon or whatever with Jet Li? I can't remember. Was it Kiss of the Dragon? I think it's called, with Jet Li, and like she's so hot in that one, and she's also really hot in Jackie Brown there. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Man, Michael Madsen in Kill Bill. May Michael Madsen rest in peace. It still feels really recent to me. But Michael Madsen, dude, in like Kill Bill, when he like does that thing, we deserve to die. That woman deserves her revenge or whatever. I butchered that line. But Michael Madsen's so fucking good in that movie. But I mean, he's so fucking good in Reservoir Dogs as well. It is really hard to pick a favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Here's what I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the best directed Quentin Tarantino thing of all time is going to be CSI: Grave Danger, when he directed the 2-part episode in 2005, like mainly starring George Eads. And yeah, man, that episode, like, it was like the most talked about thing on TV in 2005. It was so good. Death Proof is one of those movies that Quentin Tarantino says that's his worst movie, but I liked Death Proof. It's cheesy. It's good cheese. Django was very, like badass. Another recreation of the past, like recreation of the past, in the universe of Tarantino. Hateful Eight. Let's see. The only thing borrowed from real life in that one is Abraham Lincoln's Letter. That's a good one, though. I loved A Hateful Eight. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was really good. I feel like it resonates more with people who are like a couple years older than me, maybe. Like just because that's a whole Sharon Tate and Marilyn Manson thing. Like, I grew up hearing about it, but it wasn't as big in the 90s and 2000s as it was in the, 70s and 80s. So I feel like people a little bit older than me love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood more than his other work because of that. Oh, that brings me back to that time. It was a really good movie as far as like Quentin Tarantino's best. Somewhere between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction is where I land. So yeah, there's always like a restaurant scene in a Tarantino movie, but restaurants are so cool just to have like a scene talking between two characters, three characters or whatever. Like this one's a dinner party, so like I just thought it feels more like a restaurant, but yeah, there's that like charm again from the beginning scene that she saw before her parents were slaughtered. And then there's something right here where he's talking about cream and the milk that he was drinking at the beginning when he was acting with Denny there. There's definitely some sort of symbolism, or it's just supposed to act like a subtle nod of a trigger towards Shoshana. Yeah, there's milk on the table and cream right there. And how is command at the beginning mixed with the milk and the cream? I'm trying to piece things together a little bit too much. I love that relief in Shoshana when she gets to bite the pie or whatever there. Like it's like her way of resetting her senses. Because there's a certain PTSD that she was reliving, and then like it just seemed like that comfort food kind of helped her get through that moment, if that makes sense. There's something revealing about his character talking with his mouth full. Like on one hand, it seems like it's dominating her character, but on another hand, seems like it's showing like that greedy, gluttonous side of Hans Lanza, that almost self-preservation within the way he scarfed that down and talked at the exact same time. That look that he gives her reminds me of Paulie. Reminds me of Paulie in Goodfellas. Let's see. That is Jackie Ido as Marcel, born in Burkina Faso. I love how the music becomes a character. She has explained her character like as dead inside and seeking revenge, right? And it's so good. And there's Samuel L. Jackson again. Now, speaking of splicing together some, film prints or, igniting film prints and stuff like that. Let's do a shout out to one of the greatest editors of all time, Sally Menke. She was born December 17th, 1953 to September 27th to 2010. She passed away while hiking, and the temperature was really high that day, and it was just her time to go there. And she was a graduate in 1977 at New York University Tisch School of the Arts, and Quentin Tarantino has said that she is the only true collaborator. And here's some of why she's a legend. Like, for me, I think of her as a legend because she edited the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, and I've seen that in theaters like a couple of months ago with my baby girl, and I've seen that like in theaters when I was a kid with my dad. So, like, like Sally Menke means something in film history. And then like Reservoir Dogs 1992, Pulp Fiction 1994, Four Rooms. She has a segment helping out Tarantino there. Got Jackie Brown, like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. and Grindhouse Death Proof there, Inglorious Basterds, and yeah, she's like just an excellent talent who made film history. So rest in peace, Sally Menke, and one more. May I say, hi Sally. Rest in peace. So, carrying the hooch right there, Mr. Michael Fassbender, Mr. Assassin's Creed himself, Mr. David from Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I kind of want to watch now. Maybe after this I will. And then him right there, of course, is Mr. Austin Powers, Mike Myers. One of the funniest SNL members to ever be on the show. And if I'm not mistaken, quite recently dressed up like Shrek with a green face on to celebrate Eddie Murphy. That gentleman is Rod Taylor. And he's playing Winston Churchill. Rod Taylor was born January 11th, 1930 in Australia, if I got that right. And he died in January 7th, 2015. And he was 84 years old. Died in Beverly Hills. He must have known Chuck Norris, which is pretty cool because he was in Walker, Texas Ranger a couple episodes. And Tarantino says that he's a real hero of his because of Dark of the Sun. And I might have seen him in The Birds, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, rest in peace, Rod Taylor. I would like to see So I Married an Axe Murderer again. Kind of wish Mike Myers made more movies. The Love Guru was whatever, but Austin Powers was like, yeah, baby, yeah. So Quentin Tarantino was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. And he has some Italian American heritage. his father being Tony Tarantino and mother being Connie McHugh. Now, McHugh sounds a little bit Irish, right? So it's like it looks like he has everything, like everything to be, a 160 IQ kind of genius who like dropped out of high school at like 16 to work at a porn store and then and then ended up making films and like it's like one of those like hero stories in America, right, where you drop out really young and then you work at a porn store and you write your scripts until eventually you make Reservoir Dogs and you become king. Like, what a cool story, dude. But yeah, dude, like, I have to say it again. CSI, the episodes Grave Danger, those are fun. William Peterson, Gil Grissom, Catherine Willows, Marge Hellenberger, whatever. Like, dude, that was such a good show back in the day. In 2018, the Oxford Dictionary acknowledged the term Tarantino-esque, which means that, if you see a woman putting her feet up and like, moving her feet back and forth, she's being Tarantino-esque. That's pretty cool. On set, Tarantino likes to have a rule where there are no phones. And that just adds to the tension on set, as there is also a purple dildo for anybody who falls asleep. Sounds like fun on a Tarantino set. But yeah, let's see. He was 6'1". Nicknames like QT. Let's see. Wrote like, well, that's not anything. He wrote like Natural Born Killers and like True Romance or whatever. And my favorite role of his is the Gecko brother in From Dusk Till Dawn. Like him and Robert Rodriguez go way, way back. And when him and Robert Rodriguez get together, I believe it's magical. Because, like, look at Sin City. Or, like, the Grindhouse thing. Like, I know they each did their own separate movie or whatever, but it still worked really together. Like, really worked out really well. And then just for them to work together on From Dusk Till Dawn, right? That being directed by Robert Rodriguez and like partial, like written by Tarantino, like just phenomenal, dude. Like apparently the scene in From Dusk Till Dawn where all hell breaks loose, apparently like on the page it literally just says all hell breaks loose. And then they made something like that, so it's pretty awesome. Let's see. See, who do we got in this scene here? I only got a couple here. I thought that the barmaid was hot, so I had to look up her name. And the barmaid, her name is Matilda. And what you call it? Like, her character's name is Matilda, but then her real name is Anne Sophie Frank. Franck. But it's just, it's cool that it's almost like Anne Frank. But I thought she was really hot, so I was like, I have to look up her name. And that is Anne Sophie Franck. She hasn't been on since I said anything, of course. Yeah, that barmaid was super hot. See who else is in this scene there. Oh yeah, Diane Kruger is our lady with the feather hat. Her real name was Diane Kruger. She was born July 15th, 1976. She was in movies like The Host. I like The Host with that alien with like two personalities that was like in love with two different people. That was weird. It was a good movie. Unknown with Liam Neeson. Mr. Nobody, Diane Kruger was in that. I like Mr. Nobody. That was like my only favorite Jared Leto movie. Speaking of Jared Leto was in the movie Lord of War with Nicolas Cage, who was in the movie National Treasure with Diane Kruger. So that's cool. That's where Diane Kruger is from. There's that barmaid, yeah. Look at her. That's Anne Frank. and Sophie Frank. Yeah, man. And that's it. That's all I have for notes. We are halfway through this movie, and I do not know enough about it, which is why I'm warning you now. Most of this is going to be just like me watching the movie with you. So thank you for watching if you're watching this far. But I am out of notes. So there you go. Wait, I think I know that guy's name. Let's see. The expected father is Sergeant Wilhelm, played by Alexander Failing. And there's the expected father there. So in Germany, they were allowed the swastika when it's in the movie, but when it's promoting the movie, it's not allowed. From what I heard. I got one thing in common with that dude, other than the fact I got another woman pregnant. I got a baby coming my way. Hey. But like, what am I trying to say? What do I got in common with him? I got caught up in my joke there. And it was a bad joke. It wasn't even worth it. It made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, the autograph. I love autographs. I gotta get Quentin Tarantino's autograph. Speaking of autographs, I just got a message about an autograph right now. Somebody on eBay offered me a new Emma Stone autograph because I bought an Emma Stone autograph in the podcast before this one. I love how, like, even though that guy's like loaded, you know, he recognizes some things out of the ordinary when it comes to his accent. Now we have this guy from earlier. This evil bastard. The dark comedy. The dark comedy. Like they have cards on their head still. Oh, that's dark comedy. That's good. Now the boot that he's drinking from. The glass boot. It just reminds me of Beer Fest with Germans as well. I love how they're like, immediately still soldiers. Like, I mean, they were paying attention the entire time, but like the way they drag that guy away as soon as the commanding officer said to, like that. A lot of things right there. Dark comedy, comedic elements. So good. So I heard while writing this, Tarantino had the opposite of writer's block. And it was really hard for him to make the script as tight as it was, because he just wanted to keep writing more scenes involving Nazi-occupied France, right? And the cool thing about Tarantino is like when he gets an idea and he needs to like get it from paper to the screen, like he makes it happen. He has to. One of my favorite quotes of all time from Tarantino is when he was talking to Jan. No, I'm joking. My favorite quote from Tarantino is when he said something along the lines of, "I didn't go to film school. I went to films." Like when he said something along those lines, I thought it was really A brilliant line. Having those little PTSD moments. Speaking of King Kong, man, I was watching a Jack Black thing where he was talking about working with Peter Jackson. And the scene in King Kong where like Peter Jackson and Adrian Brody are like smashing a bunch of bugs and kicking at a bunch of bugs and shit like that. Like apparently they added the bugs later, which I thought was phenomenal. Like that's a sweet story. Like King Kong, such a good movie, directed by Peter Jackson, and also like the original King Kong. Like there's a couple of them, but like the black and white original, it's a fun movie if you hop on board. It's a fun movie, like for real. The original King Kong from like the 30s or whatever it was. And that being said, like if King Kong was made like 100 years ago, it's almost like 100-year tradition to put like dinosaurs and a big gorilla in your movie, Like the way he keeps tapping Stiglitz. The black comedy is like there's still some like spit on his forehead mixed with like the bartender in the background is like smoking a cigarette and kind of like paying attention at the same time is what it looks like, but yeah, a lot of acting is reacting, and the way that the colonel or whatever, I apologize, but the way he, as soon as that he went like that, as soon as that three happened, like just that reaction of recognizing imposters. It's just like there's a certain disgusted look in it, like just in the way his acting had power, you know. A bartender's cigarette. How his cigarette is like getting bigger and bigger, and he's too focused on butting it out or whatever. No, now it looks different, but there's a standoff in like every Quentin Tarantino movie. In Kill Bill, the standoff is with swords. There's a standoff in Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, I think. Yeah, like, where's my list? Standoff in Reservoir Dogs, standoff in Pulp Fiction, standoff in Jackie Brown, Kill Bill 1 and 2, yep. I don't know if there's no standoff in Death Proof. Oh. Yeah, there's no standoff in Death Proof that I can remember. But I remember this one time I saw an award show where Quentin Tarantino was accepting an award for the effects or whatever in Death Proof. And he was like, was that a fucking car crash or was that a fucking car crash? Something like that. It was really good. And he didn't make it for you, Jan. Yeah, Tarantino's awesome. Matilda. Oh well, rest in peace. Yeah, Matilda, the barmaid. She's so hot. I still love the choice to tack the CO to the table with a knife through the back of the neck kind of thing. Very fun film gore. Just the way he said, yeah, she's ours. I was like, yeah, she's ours. It really is a complicated moment until you remember he's a Nazi. And when he calls him son there, you kind of feel like a warmness. So it's like just the way. Like there's this thing where it's like because he's a Nazi, there's no empathy and there's no sympathizing for him. But at the same time, the way Tarantino pulls at your heartstrings by writing Wilhelm as a expecting, like as expecting of a son or a daughter, right? Hell yeah. The way that love blinded the Nazi and Tarantino used that love blinding him against him and made that choice to kill the Nazi. You know what I mean? Like it's both good and bad because like like as a father you're like, oh man, it sucks that this guy's a father, but you don't sympathize or empathize for him because he's a Nazi. So it's like it works on a couple of levels. Suddenly I want a sweater vest. Brad Pitt can pull it off. I think I can pull it off, right? If I put a sweater vest over top of that or whatever. But I really do think that somehow Aldo Ray being uneducated led towards bastards being spelled like that, but I don't know. Put this over here. It really does make sense to start counting from your thumb. You know what I mean? Like, I know that, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like the, American and Canadian way. But if you look at your hand, it like, where are you gonna start? Why would you start at 2? 1, like 1, 2, 3, right? It just, yeah. So I will give the Germans that. Starting counting from 1 from the thumb does make sense. As like the veterinarian or whatever in a nightcap, like he like he was woke up in the middle of the night. Another part that's black comedy. It's so good. That Diane Kruger's eyes are so dreamy. Yeah. Looking at the calendar, it said 1944 on the calendar. Here it is. Boom. Now, like, this is the part where anything that was like extremely historic becomes Tarantino-esque. Could you imagine if that was Adam Sandler in 2009, right after like some The Longest Yard stuff or something like that? That would look really cool. Like, I'm glad it's Eli Roth. We wouldn't change it. But after hearing that Adam Sandler thing, it does seem kind of cool. Like, the way he was searching for Shoshana at the beginning and all that stuff, like, everything felt believable until this part where it's like, we're gonna get Hitler at this movie theater. Which is like, if I was American, like, it would be like, America. I'm Canadian and I love this movie in that like way where it makes me enjoy, you know what I mean, America that much more. I know it sounds weird because like the way there are Nazi propaganda movies, this feels almost like a America propaganda movie. I think I said that earlier. Yeah, I've been up all night. Went to Saskatchewan and back. And I like how he speaks the most. Definitely must have been hard for Till Schweiger to act dead there because you can see his eyes moving around. Unless I missed it. Unless I missed it and he said that they're dying instead of dead, but just a shout out to like the costume department and also like this part here where it's like a homage to like Cinderella. Like, it's some sort of weird, like, it's probably not intentional. Like, I know like the Cinderella part might be intentional, but the fact that it's like a Cinderella thing, and then like Disney was so big, and then like Walt Disney being like a known anti-Semite, and then you add that up with you know, Disney anti-Semitism, Cinderella the shoe, Hans Lanza finding the shoe. There's something very satirical about that, whether if it was meant to have anything towards Disney, but there's definitely a Cinderella thing to it. But to me though, like if it was meant to be like a shot towards Disney, bravo. You know what I mean? Like, but to me it felt like something there, you know, like a picture's worth 1,000 words, and since a movie's made out of like millions of pictures, a movie is worth, you know, 1,000,000,000,000 words in that sense. Each picture is worth 1,000. I think it's like maybe he couldn't put Uma Thurman as Shoshana, so he picked somebody who looked a little bit close to Uma Thurman, because Quentin Tarantino's Vice or something, he might have said something around those lines. His Vice or whatever is Uma Thurman, right? Which is cool. Speaking of Uma Thurman, you know, like just what a talent, you know, like Kill Bill, and like even when she was oh man, when she was Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin, like fuck, she was so sexy with the red hair and all that stuff there, that Uma Thurman stuff there. But yeah, back to Shoshana, Melanie Laurent. Yeah, I really do love the way Melanie Laurent like explained that her character is dead inside and just solely like fixated on revenge. That's like her drive. And like a big thing in the Quentin Tarantino universe has always been revenge. Like, is there not? See, I'm trying to think of a movie, Quentin Tarantino, that has no revenge. Reservoir Dogs? Where's the revenge in Reservoir Dogs? Like Mr. Blonde reacting by shooting up everybody was kind of like revenge. Yeah, man. Revenge is so fucking cool in the Quentin Tarantino universe. Very, very good writer. I've been meaning to get around to reading Quentin Tarantino's book on cinema and all that jazz there, but haven't gone around to it. I've been watching too many goddamn movies. That's what I love. I've always been a wannabe Tarantino, right? Yeah, and I've always been a wannabe in general, I think, you know. Wannabe comedian, wannabe actor, wannabe good Samaritan. I don't know. I've always been a wannabe. Wanna be a movie star for the propaganda films. No, I'm joking. All right. Man, there are so many cigarettes there. I want a cigarette, but I know it's bad for me, and I should not smoke cigarettes. I love how he's never off. He's always working and in it for himself. Wow, Diane Kruger's looking really good there. Go figure, that's a sweet dress. Yeah, there's a messed up thing I've read about this. Like 90% of the German actors in this movie kind of have already played Nazis before, which is pretty fucked up if you think about it. But at the same time, it's like when they typecast somebody. There was like that whole thing where Aziz Ansari would only take non-stereotypical like East Indian kind of roles, and Bill Hader made that joke at the roast of James Franco that if Aziz decided to make more roles happen that involved him playing a stereotypical Indian, like if you came out here cross-eyed playing a sitar, you know. Yeah, it was a really good bit, but I'm comparing that to the way the Germans in this movie decided that because they're German, they matched the Nazi roles and they took those roles while acting. And how Aziz was like, I'm not going to do that. And I thought that was kind of cool. I would sell out though. Like if somebody was like, Darren, we need you to play, you know, Tonto. Yes. Darren, we need you to play a drunk Indian like Adam Beach did in Flags of Our Fathers. You'll have to ask the Navajo Nation. That's what happened with Adam Beach and Flags of Our Fathers or whatever. But yeah, I would sell out so hard if it meant taking better care of my family. So I would play any character pretty much. There's that dark comedy again. The guy who was the third best at speaking Italian turned out to be the best at it. Yeah, it's so funny. Buongiorno. Yeah, man, like those uniforms. So like, there's just like makes me wonder how much they spent on the costume department, man. Like just everything. I mean, it's a movie, right? And in movies, everything's supposed to look kind of slick or sleek, unless grittiness calls for it. But like everybody here, slick and sleek, high class, like Nazi royalty. Like you know, I'm not saying it, looks like the good life, but they look wealthy and powerful and stuff like that, which is kind of conflicting as the viewer. Just like throughout this entire movie, there are conflicting stuff like the Nazi who was expecting to be a father, right? And that like that part kind of, but because he's a Nazi, removes all like empathy, right? So there's that thing where it's like you see all that power and it looks like wealth and they're just living it up in this movie theater like this is their party or whatever. And then you mix that with, wait, they're Nazis, no sympathy, no empathy, nothing. Get rid of them, right? Like you mix that with that's conflicting as a viewer. That's why there's a certain level of I can't look away that Quentin Tarantino delivers in his movies. So there's something so sexy about like a psychotic movie woman. You know what I mean? Like there's something so odd about Shoshana. Like her need for revenge comes off just, but like the fact that she has it, I can't look away, and I want to see what her boiling anger, like what that steams towards and what that like happens to her. So just like how many revisions do you have to do to build a story that gripping? I really do wonder Tarantino's process of how he did Inglorious Basterds. Like a guy like that, like it's for me, like like it just like a guy like that looks like he could do it in one draft. This is the movie. I did it in one draft, but he has to write it. Like he probably has to do it like 10 times or something until it's like that's perfect. This is the script. Let's take it to the next level. But I wonder what his process is on that. So I definitely got to get some Tarantino books. Definitely. I really hope he really dives into detail for how he makes his movies and how he writes his stories. Like I want that. And notice just notice like the delicate nature that he has towards her right now. Like the way he took off her shoe was so non-threatening. And then just right there, the reaction that Diane Kruger gives. That thing there, like Just that reaction, so good. Yes. Now, just to see that after, like, he never did anything himself yet until that moment where he strangled her with her bare hands. Like, it's just so powerful. And how he's still sweating, like the droplets of sweat just add to the carnage somehow. It's really cool. If I ever make a movie, I'll remember that, like the sweat part. So if you ever see a movie of mine and somebody, strangles somebody in the movie or whatever, and you see the sweat, you'll know it's my subtle homage and nod to that really dark and really cool strangling scene that Christoph Waltz pulled off so flawlessly. But I wonder how many takes they had to do, because it reminds me of The Simpsons. It's like, but we got to do it from different angles again and again and again and again and again. But yeah, I just love the different sides of Hans Lanza and Aldo Ray there. Like, Aldo's so improperly spoken in multiple languages, while Hans is like fluent in multiple languages, and it's just like that whole that part where like Hans thinks he can have fun with him and pokes him a bit, and then gets a headbutt. Like, it just works on so many levels. Like, I do think this movie is pretty gosh darn flawless, and like very solid cause and effect. Oh, I forgot to mention I think that's BJ Novak. And I've actually seen all 9 seasons. I think it's 9 seasons of The Office, the US version. I know I've seen all seasons, and it's like, and to leave for the, like, he had to leave for the show. I mean, for the movie. He had to leave the movie for the show for a bit, which is pretty blessed of a life for BJ Novak, to be on the hit show The Office, and then to have the kind of leverage he did at the time, I guess, to be able to go and do Inglorious Basterds and then come back to The Office. That's a blessed life for any actor, right? Man, I love movies. It's like every single thing is so like, I gotta put this here. 3 glasses, and like the drink, the candle in the back. Now, I'm captivated back and forth between our protagonist and antagonist. But I'm trying to understand now. I'm just like trying to understand his allegiance. Like I've seen this before, but I always kind of question like what makes his character so, I'm gonna betray the Nazis. That's what I've always wondered. And like it does make the story pop. It does make it click, and I do like it. But like I guess it's the evil outweighing the professionalism, as well as like the like just loyalty overall. Evil conquering loyalty. And like his allegiance has always been to himself. Give me milk. Give me dessert. Oh, hey, Shoshana, you like this and that? The way he was talking with his mouth full. A lot of Tarantino characters say bingo. I know I've heard Uma Thurman say it before. Bingo. Or was it Daryl Hannah? Damn it. I gotta rewatch all of these movies. Bingo. Out of my 19 episodes of podcasts, this is the 19th, right? But like I've heard the term bingo so many times, though. Like it was always for helicopters when they can't go past a certain point without returning. And The Perfect Storm, The Guardian. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I like that little skit they do on The Making. And how the dude sitting next to Hitler like plays the producer of the movie in the little skit that they make, and Eli Roth plays the director. When like I just find it's funny, like, because the behind the scenes or whatever, it's Eli Roth as the director, and Eli Roth is Jewish, and I thought that's funny. That's a funny joke. First we made the film. Like, I know, go check it out. It's on the, if you already have it, like, I mean, like, you probably already seen it, but there's a really good behind the scenes Eli Roth playing the director of making of, what is it, something Nation's Pride. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, today, it's April 20th, 2026, and you know, like, that 420 thing just so happens to be the Lur's birthday. So I'm pretty sure, like, when it comes to saying the Lur, I feel like I'm one of the, like, I feel like I coined it, but, like, I don't know if anybody else calls them that, but I feel like I'm one of the first to be like, Hitler is the Lur. I don't know why. I just say it's so ridiculous. But if I am the first one to be like the Lur, you know what I mean? You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. So full of myself. So full of myself. I'd rather be so full of myself than anything else, right? But yeah, dude. Happy birthday to the Lur. I don't agree with what he did and all that stuff. And I heard the Shane Gillis quote, and on some level, this Shane Gillis quote is right. On some level, the Shane Gillis quote is basically like, he was so cool until after art school, and on some level, like, that does seem kind of, you know what I mean, like, and then after art school, like, Shane Gillis said, like, what a loser after art school, and, like, yeah, I agree, but it's you know what I mean, there's still something. I don't know where I'm going with this. I apologize. I wish nothing but health and happiness to everybody in the world. But it's like, there's something about that whole thing there. But I'll drop it. I'll let it go. Let's put a pin in that. In fact, let's put a fucking poppy pin in that, because thank God the Allied troops won, just for us to be able to like, hang out freely and watch movies, whether, like, if you're not German, like my son is lucky, he's got a little bit of German in him and stuff like that, but, like, I'm not really German, so it's like, if they ended up winning, I wouldn't be here. So it's like, it's one of those weird things, like, but yeah, thanks to the Allied troops and all that stuff there. And like Tarantino said, though, this is more about a story happening within World War II instead of anything to do with World War II, right? Yeah, so it is a fun story, and I thought it would be fun to watch this on April 20th. And then this year the plan is for November 11th to watch Saving Private Ryan. I got a Matt Damon autograph of him in Saving Private Ryan, so you can use that for the film. I mean, for the podcast instead of, yeah. That is a really cool picture, though, of Brad there. That voice is Lorraine Bracco's ex. Just kidding. I'm just joking. He's never been called that, I don't think, ever. But that's Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel's so fucking cool, man. Like you know, in the Quentin Tarantino universe, he always plays some tough badass, and just what a good actor, dude. Like him in the Martin Scorsese universe as well. Like in Taxi Driver, or wasn't he in The Irishman? I can't remember if he was in The Irishman. God damn it! I know I've seen Harvey Keitel and like, you know, like Bad Lieutenant or something like that. There, yeah, man. But he's just such a legend, and just for him to have that little speaking voice acting role there, I thought that was a really cool thing for Tarantino to, you know, give Harvey Keitel his place in this movie. Same with Samuel L. Jackson when he had that voiceover earlier in the film, right? Like just for Tarantino to do that for his movie film making professional, but at the same time, I love you forever, friends. Like that part's so cool. And those connections that Tarantino has with those actors, it just like, it looks like from a fan perspective, it looks so priceless, like even more than the movie. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine being part of the crew working on this movie, and just, oh my God, it's you. We worked on this movie together. We'll always have it. It was a huge success. Everybody loved this movie. Yeah. There's just so many cool things, that friendships the director had that contributed towards the art, is all I'm trying to be thankful for. I love how his character is just kind of like just a man trying to hook up with a woman. Like like he could have just watched the movie and got all of the praise and love, and he probably could have found a different woman that, you know, wanted to smash after seeing him in the movie. But he was like, I want her. There's still some sort of unrelenting quality that is in all men. Even though he does get a little bit too far. He goes a little bit too far here, but now you gotta remember, he's just a Nazi. The reason I gotta remember he's just a Nazi is because I'm only human. If Shoshana was like, close that door, Darren, I'm gonna hook up with you, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, really? Yes. And that's why I'm trying not to sympathize with the Nazi that just died. You know what I mean? He's a Nazi. It's good. It's good he's dead. But I'm just saying, there's a conflict there. Yeah, like how like he shoots her in the gut and all that shit there. Um, like I was just thinking about Harvey Keitel still, and the way in Reservoir Dogs when Harvey was talking to Mr. Orange about the gut shot, and that just kind of made me think about her getting shot in the gut there. And almost like maybe the Nazis should have just let her bleed to death. But yeah, there's something so cool about the way it's written there. Like it's tragedy equals time plus comedy or whatever, but there's also that time plus comedy equals tragedy thing. So just the way Shoshana spent her life, like dedicating herself to the revenge of the people, the revenge on the people who killed her family at the beginning there, the Nazis. Like something about the revenge being her downfall, even though it's relatable and understandable why she was so fixated on that hatred and revenge. But yeah, there we see the end of almost the end of Melanie Laurent. Now, here's the end for Shoshana, even though she was shot. Just that Tarantino-esque, just that thing where like she died in the scene before and then she's on the screen again. That thing where Tarantino brings ghosts from like people that die earlier in his films and then later on you see them later. There's that sort of homage to it, whether it's intentional or not. Yeah, man. This whole movie, this whole day. Just about shooting Hitler up in what you call it, Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Basterds. That's what this whole day was about, baby. Seeing Hitler being shot up in the universe that Tarantino creates. Fun movie, especially for like Melanie Laurent said that her dream was to kill Hitler since she was 4 years old. And then you have like Eli Roth playing the bear Jew and all that stuff. Like, I mean, like, fun movie for them, definitely. Yeah, and that's what it's all about for today, baby. Hell yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino's very anti CGI. He said that it's like it's about getting it for real on the film. And like there is still something like in me that's like, would Hans do that? But at the same time, it's not my story. It's the legend's Mr. Quentin Tarantino. And even though a part of me thinks that, the type of person the Colonel is, part of me thinks that he would never betray them, but at the same time, it's fun to hop on the board with this Nazi being almost too evil to be the evil Nazis. It's a weird kind of conflict that I feel as a viewer trying to figure out, the Colonel. And there's that scar throughout the entire movie that he has there from being chewed out before, maybe hung. It's just so well written. So well written. I was like, it's almost like his curse to live with that swastika on his forehead, forever identifying him as a Nazi, is like worse than death. You know what I mean? Like there's something so cool the way Tarantino wrote it, dude. So, but yeah, there you have it. The legend, Mr. Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Basterds. Watching it together on April 20th, 2026. And yeah, it still holds up, ladies and gentlemen. It still holds up. This movie's only like 16, 17 years old kind of thing. So it still fucking holds up. And there's a certain timeless quality to all of the Quentin Tarantino movies out there. And I really do look forward to more things to come like that. That like Cliff Booth sequel that he's supposed to do. I do have Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I will do a podcast of that eventually. I used to have the whole box set. This was before they made which one? I can't remember what the box set went up to. I think it stopped before like Hateful Eight or something. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it was really good. Borrowed it to my uncle and it got smashed up or whatever, and the discs were unplayable. But starting to rebuild my collection again, and I have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But the next Quentin Tarantino movie I do, it's gonna be either Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction. It has to be, yeah. But that was it there, ladies and gentlemen. Inglorious Basterds 2009. Thank you so much for watching it with me. Christoph Waltz is an absolute genius. Melanie Laurent was really good there. Eli Roth. Fucking love Eli Roth movies, dude. But yeah, man, just everything in that movie was so perfect, cinematic. Loved it. Great movie. Great film. Thank you, Mr. Tarantino, for a wonderful film. But yeah, I'm going to end this episode now. Antisocial Commentary, episode 19. Inglourious Basterds. We got Mr. Tarantino's birthday on the scene slate here. What is that? March 27th, 1963. But yeah, man, Antisocial Commentary, number 19, Inglourious Basterds. Cut! Thank you for watching.